What's going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to State of Footy, and welcome back to the first episode of this new show that we're doing. It's kind of a namesake after the channel. It's called the State of Footy, where we're going to talk about everything, not just Manchester United, but everything football, everything Premier League. We might jump into some Serie A, some La Liga, and I am saying we because I am joined by someone who I love to talk all things football with. We share a lot of the same principles, a lot of same mentality, a lot of the same, viewpoints on the game. And I'm welcome to have him on the channel. My boy, Griggs, what's good, bro?
My dog CK, what's going on? Make sure you guys
Man,
obviously like the video. Make sure you subscribe to State of
yeah,
Footy. My dog put it in the grind, the TikTok, the clips, everything. He's a more modern version of myself because I suck at all that kind of stuff. So
we're
yeah,
we're we're getting there. I didn't even remind people to like, share, and subscribe. So great
don't
reminder
worry.
from Griggs
I
there. I'm
have
not
staff to
even.
do that. I have staff to do that for me, so I'm gonna do it for you. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, we're still getting up on trying to get on the algorithm and whatnot, but this is gonna hopefully be a great conversation. It was a great week of football, to be honest. Like the games coming in, obviously we had a few big games on the docket, but the fixtures were looking a little meaty. But I saw something on Twitter. This is actually, or the Premier League put it out. This was the most goals in a 10-game match week in Premier League history. 45 goals in this match week. So it was a great week of football, and we just got finished watching. This is going to be uploaded on Monday, so we just got finished watching Phil Foden score a hat trick for Man City in a game where they went down 1-0. It was looking a little shaky. Man City were still playing well, but Phil Foden comes through. And it's interesting. I was thinking about this. I wanted to ask you about this. KDB was obviously out for a while. Phil Foden finally gets his place as a mainstay in the team, playing in the interior where he always says he's the most comfortable, where he wants to play. And he starts shining. KDB comes back, and everyone thinks, it might be his team again. But Phil Foden, once again, saves Man City. He's been their best player this season by far, maybe one of the best players in the Premier League, you could argue. Are we witnessing a transition, do you think, in Man City where this is now Phil Foden's team?
You know what? That was always the big question with Phil Foden. This year was like, especially when KDB went out first game of the season, so like really early. Like this is time for Foden either make it or break it. Like it's time to put up or shut up, as we always say. Like when it comes to sports, it's time for you to become the main man because we always say Phil Foden. He's had it comfy, just chilling behind David Silva, Kevin De Bruyne, Bernardo, who else? Gundogan. Like he never had to be the main man. He had other players that had to rise instead of him, and he's been comfortable doing that. But obviously, with KDB going out, Holland's missed some time as well throughout the season. Grealish is struggling, so you like the likes of Doku, the young. He's kind of become like the veteran in a sense, like the longest tenure City player in that attack.
Yeah.
And he just put up like every single time. I think he has 8 goals, 7 assists now in the Premier League. If that was updated before from football, I don't know. So it's either 11-7 or 8-7,
Yeah,
one
I'll
of the two,
double
which is
check
still
right now.
incredible, which is a good return. And yeah, I tweeted this. I'm like, we're coming to the point where if City win the league, he might be a number one contender for the PFA Player of the Year. I mean, there's no gimme answer for that pick for that player for that award right now. In other years, you kind of already know. Like last year, it was a foregone conclusion that'd be Holland when he broke the record. But this year, you're like Salah, but he's injured right now, so it gives some time for the other contenders to step up. Arsenal don't really have that one player that's like been a standout player unlike Declan Rice, but I don't think they ever give the award to Declan Rice. It's more of like an either a top defender award or a top attacker. And I think Phil Foden, he just stepped up. And obviously with KDB back now, it even allows him to become more of the goal scorer now, as opposed to being like the chief playmaker. And yeah, today was just good, well taken goals. And people always question with Foden, can he like? Someone tweeted, I remember I saw the tweet on my timeline, like Brentford went up 1-0. Someone asked Foden, are we going to see Foden finally scoring a tough game where they're
Yeah,
behind?
not be like a front
Well,
runner. He has like this
yeah,
front
don't be a
runner
front.
sort of. Yeah.
Yeah, they put that tag on Foden. They put that tag on Morris. They put that tag on a lot of City attackers because they always win like 4-5-0. But
Yeah.
I mean, 3-1, scored all 3 goals, even with Holland on the pitch. So you got to give him.
What more can you say at this point? It's I just looked it up. Confirmed 8 goals and 7 assists in the league this season. Not sure about his Champions League numbers, but yeah, I mean, what a luxury for Man City, right? You have KDB out. You can just plug what is, in my opinion, a generational talent. I think the greatest English talent since Wayne Rooney, in my opinion. Some
Okay.
people might say Jude. I think Phil Foden. Um, but yeah, just what a luxury for Man City to have those two players, and now they're both back, and you can play them together in the pockets, playing off of each other. KDB can drop a little deeper while Foden plays that attacking role. They can switch. You have players like Bernardo Silva who can just play anywhere. I always go back. I don't know if you watched that Man City documentary when they won the league, not the treble, but the league. But he described himself as an attacking defender, and I always go back to that quote when talking about Bernardo Silva. He's just a pure footballer.
You saw that
Um,
tackle he put today, right? That tackle that he
yeah,
had where it could have led to an easy goal for Brentford. It's
yeah,
ridiculous.
insane. Um, and so yeah, Man City they're looking primed and ready to do this thing again. I want to pull up. I don't know if it'll let me or not. The Premier League table as of right now. I think we can get it here.
There you go.
Yeah. So it's looking like, yeah, Liverpool up top, 51 points, and City. I saw a tweet too. City just always spawn 2 games in hand at this point of the season, and it's every time. They're obviously going for 4, a record that would break, obviously Manchester United's 3 in a row, first team ever to do 4 in a row. And they're 2 points behind at this moment in time with a game in hand. They obviously still have Liverpool and Arsenal to play, and things are looking like it might happen again. What are your thoughts on City's chances right now?
Just when I thought we finally got rid of them, like you know what, they had the 2 wins in 7 game stretch. You're like, okay, yo, we finally got maybe for one season we got rid of the evil of Pep Guardiola and Manchester City. But I always say this when you have a top team like City in the league, when they give you the opportunity to pounce on them, you must stick the dagger in the chest. You gotta finish the job. And Arsenal, Liverpool did not finish the job on multiple occasions, and they let City slip back into it. And now we all know post January City is the best, arguably might be the best team we've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie, but it feels like they go on a 10 match, 15 match unbeaten every single time once winter starts.
Yeah,
Maybe they might like Game of Thrones or something. Like maybe that's their favorite show because
winter
that's
is
all they
coming.
do. Winter's coming, bro. That's what they wait for. And they didn't have KDB for basically half the season. Their best player, in my opinion, and they weren't. The league wasn't able to capitalize. They didn't have Holland for about 5-6 games. The league wasn't able to capitalize. You had Pep trying all these different formations. They have John Stones hasn't played for most of the season. Like all these key players, like Holland, Stones, and KDB. Last season, you could argue that was the main trio for Manchester City in terms of important players. Those
Yeah,
guys have missed so many games, yet they've done their job. Whether it's Foden stepping up, whether it's Ruben Diaz stepping up, Rodri who's been obviously could argue their player this season alongside Foden, Bernardo, who's just like you said, he could play anywhere on the pitch, Mr. Consistent. He could give you the goal like he did against Newcastle. He could give you like the 85 dribbles that he could do. As he could offer everything. You go play left back like he did against Arsenal last year. He's just the ultimate Swiss Army knife that you could have. And it's peak, bro. Obviously, they still got to go to Anfield though. Like you said, they got to play. They got to
yeah.
play Liverpool, and it's at Anfield. And I don't think Pep has beaten Klopp at Anfield in front of a crowd before. So while
Mm,
City have a game in hand, Liverpool kind of have a game in hand. In fact, that City have to come to them.
yeah, it's true.
So that's a good thing for Liverpool. But Arsenal, they got to go to Etihad, where I know they've beaten City this year already, but it's different between beating City at Emirates and
Speaking
Wembley than going to Etihad
with
because I know people make fun of Etihad, right? Like obviously all the jokes and stuff like that,
yeah,
but what
they
top
got,
team in the last 5 years has gone to Etihad and won
especially when it's an important game. Like
an important game?
we saw last year with Arsenal going there with a chance to, you know,
They got
reclaim
popped.
control of the time, got clipped. And when City played them earlier this year, they didn't have KDB. So, and we know KDB versus Arsenal is peak.
That's
So,
cash money, man.
but speaking of Arsenal and Liverpool, I guess we can move on to I guess what was the marquee game of the weekend. Arsenal Liverpool. A lot of hype going into the game. Arsenal coming in was basically a must win for them to stay within, grasp of the title. Liverpool had a chance to extend their lead at the top of the table, and we watched this game together. Not live, but just on StreamYard
Yeah.
chilling. And I don't know if I just didn't take it in fully, or because I saw a clip of the Arsenal first goal and the reaction of, I guess Twitter and pundits as, Arsenal were just amazing and they completely dominated Liverpool, which they did, don't get me wrong, but and the move for their first goal was great, but it was still 1-1. And if Virgil van Dijk and Alisson don't have that calamity of an error, it wasn't really looking like Arsenal were just threatening day in and day out, for the entirety of the 90 minutes. I don't know. I guess what were your thoughts on that game, and do you agree with the discourse as Arsenal were just, you know, amazing?
I thought the first half they battered them. Not gonna lie, like it's kind of similar to
Yeah.
the FA Cup match, to be honest. I think the first half was a replica, except Arsenal got the goal that they weren't able to in the FA Cup match. Even though
Mhm.
Liverpool did equalize towards the end of the half, but like the first goal was a great pass by Odegaard. I think he played the pass to Havertz, who
Yeah, great move. Yeah.
of course fluffed it because Kai Havertz is one of the worst footballers in the
Yeah.
league. But Bukayo Saka was there to capitalize. But the press was excellent. The recovery, they were just able to bypass the Liverpool press with ease. And they bopped them off the park. But the thing with Liverpool is you could play Liverpool off the park, but they'll just score the jammiest goal to get right back in the
Yeah,
game, and
yeah.
that's exactly what they did. Liverpool are a type of team like they're kind of similar in terms of like Man City, where you cannot make mistakes. But with Man City, it's more like on the offensive end. With Liverpool, it's on the defensive end because they got the type of players that just like that are hungry. They'll just poach. They'll just any loose ball, they'll win it like a 50-50 duel. They're really great at that. Like you have Jota who will find himself in the weirdest positions and score. Luis Diaz. Obviously, Darwin is another player like that, but he wasn't on the pitch in the first half. But I thought I thought Arsenal were good, but defensively, Saliba, I gotta look at him sideways. Like you're meant to be this Rolls Royce center back. You're meant to be the heir
Mhm.
to Virgil van Dijk's throne, all that kind of stuff. But when you look at it, like I said like he's top two center backs in the league, but the aerial duel numbers scare me. For a top class
Mhm.
center back, I'm sorry, you cannot be aerially dominant. I know like you're meant to be this calm center back, but so is Varane, for example. Varane's a sweeper for our team, but he's aerially dominant. He wins about 80% of his aerial duels. Rio Ferdinand was kind of similar to Saliba's profile. He's aerially dominant. Virgil van Dijk's another one. He's aerially dominant. I saw Saliba get dunked on by Jota a couple weeks ago. In this game, I think with Saliba is like he's still young to be fair, so he has a while to go to mature and all that kind of stuff. And center backs don't peak at this kind of age; they get more mature. But as of right now, like when it gets to like a 50-50, like in the penalty box area, he gets spooked a little bit, and his decision making, which is meant to be one of his best attributes, like that's what makes him his reading of the game. It kind of goes away when it comes like to a 50-50 duel. So like you're meant to be the calmness in that defense because Gabriel's the aggressor. Zinchenko's just out there for
Yeah.
vibes and running into midfield for God knows what. Benjamin White is just chilling out there with his spray tan. You're meant to be the calm guy, but yesterday he caused panic.
No, I think it's a good point. I think, yeah, as you said, his reading and anticipation of the game is so good that I think a lot of times he doesn't even get into the situation where he has to be in the penalty box, and like so it's almost he's almost like too good to where he's like when he gets into that position and he doesn't read it perfectly, now he's like, "Oh, I usually am not even in this situation, so now I'm freaking out." Obviously we're nitpicking here. Saliba is gonna be world
Top
class
class.
for a long
Yeah.
time. Like he's amazing, but I do think there's something to be said about especially the aerial duels as well. And then if he doesn't read it like he usually does, and he gets into a position where it's a 50-50 in the box, could go either way, and he doesn't have the distinct advantage of his physical capabilities, like he can get found out a lot of the time. And then when Gabrielle is right beside you, you know, anything could happen, as we saw on Sunday. And then I think was it West Ham where it was kind of like a similar
Yeah.
situation. Um, so yeah, I think it was an interesting game. I thought Liverpool were like pretty bad, like really bad.
They were terrible. They were.
I didn't really understand the Jota off the right, Darwin on the bench after I know he hasn't been scoring, but he's been causing so much
He
havoc.
was he
Uh,
was injured.
oh, he was okay.
Yeah.
Okay, well that makes sense. But yeah, I just didn't think Liverpool had the firepower, and they're especially with Szoboszlai out as well, like, not having that engine in midfield. I thought Gravenberch and, who else was
Spooky
playing in
conversation.
midfield? Gravenberch and I mean, that just goes to show you that they were
Uncomfortable.
non Curtis Jones, who usually is, like, a
He's
nice little
quiet. Yeah, he's
player.
quiet. was quite interesting.
I thought McAllister was kind of doing all three jobs. He was taking shots from outside the box, winning balls, trying to distribute, playing out of position as well. So I just think Liverpool lacked a lot of firepower when they don't. Obviously, Salah's out. Trent was halfway fit. Probably wouldn't have even been starting if Connor Bradley's father hadn't passed away. Um, and then just a super weird error. Like I still don't
Van
really
Dijk.
understand what happened there. If it was Van Dijk's fault, if it was Allison's fault, what
I think it's Van
exactly
Dijk's
happened?
first. I
You
think
think
it's Van
so?
Dijk's first because as a center back, you're taught to never let the ball bounce in
Yeah.
that area.
No, like the
And
initial
that's
to
how,
to even get in that situation, he should have
he
cleared
is.
it right away.
So
Yeah.
I've always said this, but this is what a lot of defenders don't do nowadays. What happens to center backs that just kick it out when in doubt? When in doubt,
No,
kick it out.
clear it to Rosie, bro. Even the
Or
Saliba goal, like, just clear
yeah,
it.
just clear it, bro.
It's too
Just clear your
cute, bro.
lines.
Yeah,
That's your
yeah.
job as a defender, but they just didn't. Allison just completely whiffed, to be fair. And the thing with Liverpool is,
Yeah,
I've always said this with Liverpool, right? When you look at like squad for squad, when it comes to Liverpool, Arsenal, and City, I
mhm,
personally think Arsenal and City have stronger squads than them, but
yeah,
Liverpool have this core of like 4 or 5 players that's so strong. When you have Salah, who's arguably the best forward in the league. You have Allison, who's by far the best goalkeeper in the league. You have Van Dijk, who is the best defender in the league, or at least top two. You have Trent, who's the best right back in the league, and arguably a one-man attack by himself sometimes with his playmaking. That's 4 players right there that you have had for the last 7 years. That's a core, and when you have an
yeah,
elite core like that, it'll always bail you out. And yesterday, obviously Salah didn't play, so you have three: Allison, Van Dijk, and Trent. They had their worst games of the season. Trent wasn't able to do anything yesterday. He
yeah,
didn't look like he wanted to defend.
yeah,
Van Dijk also with the error. So if your three main players don't show up, it's hard to win a game of that magnitude, especially when you have like Gravenberch in midfield, who that Ajax, but we gotta stop buying from that club. They need to put
It's
a
spooky, bro.
they need to ban transfers from Ajax, bro. It's especially in the Premier League, bro. None of them work. There's just none of them work. But like who else? Konata was decent, but Robertson, he's washed. Jota is just a poacher. Like he's just there to like pounce on the ball. Cody Gakpo, another one, not good.
Spooky.
And
Super
Luis
spooky.
Diaz, I think Luis Diaz is a very frustrating winger. I think he has moments
Yeah,
of magic in him, but it's kind of like Garnacho in a sense. Like his overall
yeah.
game is very lackluster, and he lost a lot of his agility in the ankle. I
After
think he
that
had an
injury, yeah.
ACL. Yeah, so I think their attack's not that good, bro. I've always said it's Mo Salah and like Darwin, who just creates his own like chances in a sense. But other than that, it's not like the strongest team. Which why we're gonna see what happens post Klopp. If these guys, let's say 2 of the 4 leave, gonna be a tricky
Spooky.
rebuild.
It's spooky. I mean, they'll probably sell Salah to Saudi for like 200 and then like try to rebuild from there. But I mean, they're still top of the table. They're sitting at 51 points right now. Obviously, City have the game in hand, and Arsenal and City are at 49. I don't see them. I know the Klopp last season juice is there, but I don't know. It's gonna City have to go there, obviously, that which we talked about. Have they played Arsenal twice? They still have to play Arsenal again.
Liverpool played Arsenal twice. They're
Okay,
done with that.
so yeah, it'll be interesting to see how it turns out. Liverpool, it's always been like the Sunday afternoon against Bournemouth that always trips them up, not necessarily like the big games.
That's true.
So we'll see what happens there, but it's tight at the top right now. 2 points separating, the top three title favorites. So we'll have to see what happens. But I guess we
Shout out
can
to
move to
Martinelli,
the.
by the way. When I say shout out
Oh
to
yeah,
Martinelli, by the
yeah,
way,
yeah,
he was man of the match yesterday for me. I thought he
yeah.
was
No, Martinelli
all
was
right.
great, and obviously
So
the Jorginho coming in as well.
he was good too. He was good
He
too.
was very good. I think he actually won them technically like the
Yeah, he
man of the
did.
match
He
from
the match, yeah.
which is rare to see like a
Fast
kind
forward.
of a controller dictator get that sort of recognition. But I thought
I'm
he
surprised he
came in
got
and
it
did
because
really
of
well.
Carragher, bro. I'm surprised he got it because Carragher was steaming after the game. Man was yelling
Oh
at
my god.
Odegaard because he was taking
He
pictures.
lost his
Oh
head.
man said was
He changed
gone.
his profile pic on Twitter. He was just doing way too much yesterday, but I hear it. The head loss, it happens. But yeah, I guess we can move to what is now the bottom half of the table. Chelsea 1, Wolverhampton Wanderers 4. I see a little backstory for the people. I told Griggs before this game that I was looking to sprinkle a little bit of money on Wolves. They're plus 430 something. I was like, Chelsea, this is a spot that I love Wolves to win, and they're plus 400. Chelsea's not consistent. Wolves just put 3 past Manchester United, and he's like, no, bro, it's at Stamford Bridge. Like, I don't know, maybe a draw at best, maybe. And I was like,
I thought a
okay,
draw. I'm not
okay,
gonna lie.
okay.
I thought a draw was gonna happen. I'm not gonna lie, bro. I thought a
I
draw
could
was
have
gonna
been
happen.
rich. I could have been rich,
Yeah,
and it's
you would
pretty
have won
much
40
all
bucks.
Griggs' fault. It's all
You would have won
Griggs' fault
40
that
bucks.
I'm not
You would
rich.
have won 40 bucks. 40 bucks. What does 40 bucks change your life in LA, bro?
Yeah,
You could barely afford food in LA with 40 bucks, bro.
that's true. That's true. But Chelsea, they lost again, and they are 11th in the table. And there's been leaks coming out that players are unhappy, players are overweight, players don't want to train. They
Certain
have
member called
a
Joey.
they have
Certain
a
member called
200
Joey.
they have a $200 million midfield that I haven't seen impact a game that's not against the League 3 side. Um Everything is going wrong at Chelsea. They're basically, I think I saw they have maybe one more win and 2 more losses than they did last season. I don't know what's going on with my beanie right now. Last season, and yeah, more goals conceded, I believe, and they can't score, and nothing's going right. And yeah, I is it the coach? Is it the players? Is it a combination of both? Is it the tactics? Like, what do you think is going on at Chelsea right now?
First of all, I gotta give a. I don't know if you know Specs Gonzalez from Philly Fellas, but I gotta do a my
Mm,
bad when it comes to Chelsea because I was wrong on them. I like to think of myself like a pretty smart football fan, but I thought Chelsea were actually gonna be good this year, especially when I saw them
mm,
against Liverpool that first game of the season. Their underlying numbers were pretty good for the first about 3 months. I thought they had high XG and all that kind of stuff. I don't know what game it was that turned it. I think I kind of pointed to the United game where we absolutely bought them off the park.
mm.
They have been absolutely one of the worst footballing sides I have ever seen in my life since that game. They're just so bad. I don't know. Like I honestly, obviously, the first person you got to blame is Todd Bowley. That's
Yeah,
the first person you obviously blame. Also, you're from LA, so you know the Dodgers, so you know how
yeah,
like Todd Bowley kind of operates and that kind of stuff. He's a very impatient guy. He wants to like
yeah.
win, but he
Just
like sometimes
spend.
to skip. Yeah, he likes to throw money at the wall. Sometimes skip steps in that kind of sense. And I've always say in sports, it's very hard to skip steps, especially in
Mm,
football. Forget baseball. In football, it's very hard to skip steps. We tried to skip steps for the past 10 years, and look at where we are right now. So we're kind of good people to kind of explain on why the skipping steps is not working, and especially when you try to skip steps by signing a bunch of kids. You have
mm.
a squad that has very few veterans. You have Thiago Silva, whose wife is just chatting on Twitter every single night.
That was crazy.
We have Raheem Sterling, who looks like a shell of himself. You have Reece James, who's your captain, but he can't stay on the pitch. Your vice captain is Ben Chilwell, who's coming off a boatload of injuries, so he can't himself stay fit. So your top 2 captains are injury-prone players. That's the first. That's the first thing. Those are meant to be your leaders. And you have
Mm.
Thiago Silva, obviously, and then you have like Raheem Sterling. That's 4 right there. Other than that, who's the veteran on that team? You have Nkunku who's coming in, but he's a first year guy. So and he's been injured for most of the season. So that is in the midfield. The veteran in the midfield is Conor Gallagher, and he's basically a kid himself, but he's Cobham and all that kind of stuff. You have Enzo who played 6 months at Benfica and got signed for 120 million. You have Caicedo who had one full season at Brighton starting, got sold for 150 million. So you're like 200 million right there. A 200 million midfield pivot that couldn't outplay Amrabat and McTominay in December.
Mm.
We have a kid ourselves in Kobe Mainoo who's better than that midfield pivot by himself. It's like
Fact.
I've always said this: when it comes to spending money in football, you have to make sure you get game changers. If you're going to spend a lot of money, it has to be on game changers. In what world is an Enzo and Caicedo pivot game changing? You just can't. There's no pivot in football. It's game changing pivot. It's very hard to create. You have to have like superstars, and neither
Mm.
of them are that. So I look at that. I'm like, you have an attack that struggled to score last year, and what's your main like replacement for it? Like your main way to address it. You brought in Kunku, okay, but you knew he was injury prone coming into it. Yeah, Nicholas Jackson, who well actually been a surprise this season. I think he's been really good. I think he's been the best forward, but he had a what 6 month spot at Villarreal where he looked decent. 30 more right there. Cole Palmer, obviously he stepped up this season, but he was unproven. He did
Mm.
not have he barely had first minutes at City. Why not just go sign experienced players? And Poch said that himself. Poch said, like, I want experienced Premier League proven players. That's what you need in the Premier League. Let's be real. Like, it's okay to have the young players, but you got to mix it. You got to do mix and match. they don't know what mix and match is. They just go for the
Yeah,
youngsters. They think it's FM. That's not how football works.
that's
And
what I was just about to
now it's
say.
gotten
Playing
now it's
career
gotten
mode.
to the point where like you have a manager who's apparently unhappy. That came out today. Like he's very
Mm.
unhappy. You can't sack him because you might breach FFP because you spent a boatload of money for no reason. And you have
That's
players that, like you
hilarious,
said,
by the way.
what happened?
Not being able to sack your manager because of FFP is insane.
I think especially at a big club, bro. I understand if like a smaller club, like you give the back to some manager to try and save you, right? But like you're Chelsea Football Club. Like, come on. What else? You have like obviously what happened with the Enzo and Caicedo comments where they're overweight. Like, bro, that's kind of embarrassing. You have players that are unhappy. Apparently, these group of players don't like criticism. Bro, think about that. These are young players too, so these are young guys, so they should be able. Like, these are the ones that should be able to handle criticism. It's different. Like, if you're a veteran squad, right, and you have players that are like
Yeah.
top. Like, I remember
You're-
like when David Moyes came to United, right? A lot of
mhm.
the United players didn't like hearing criticism from David Moyes because they're like, "Who is this guy? I'm a 10-time Premier League champion." Moyes tried to tell Rio and Vidic how to defend like Jagielka. They're like, "Who is Jagielka compared to me?"
Mm. Yeah.
Now you have Poch trying to like, "Yo, Enzo Fernandez, I know you're a World Cup winner, but that's good, but you haven't done enough in the
What have you?
sport."
Yeah.
Caicedo,
What
you
have you?
haven't done enough in the sport. Who are you guys? So at this point,
But
I said this. They should have never fired Graham Potter. I've always said this. If you're gonna oversee a
mm,
project, bro, just let it be with Graham Potter. You have his team from Brighton in the recruitment area anyway.
yeah.
Just let him have the preseason. Let him have like at least the first half of the season and see if you can improve because they played better football last season than they did this year, and with the worst squad because that squad still had Kai Havertz, that had a Mudrik
Mm.
that just came from Ukraine. Like you look at this is where I'm going to go into Poch now. What has Poch done at Chelsea to improve them? Because I'm seeing Levi Cole play left back instead of left center back. They had Ian Matson, who's a left back, play right wing.
Ben
Like,
Chilwell at left wing.
where's the coaching?
Mm. That's what I was saying. I was actually talking to a friend of mine that's a Chelsea fan yesterday, and he was trying to blame it more on the players. He's like, Poch can't make Nicholas Jackson score that header or Sterling score that cutback chance, which I hear, but that's one game. Over the course of how many games are we into the season? 23. There hasn't been nearly enough footballing wise, structure wise for me to really say that I understand what Poch is trying to do with Chelsea. He came in and he played one way in the preseason, and then the first game against Liverpool, they played 3 at the back, and then he changed it again. And then it's kind of the same thing with Ten Hag. He's too adaptive. Like, pick a style and stick with it. And I haven't seen any sort of style that I can say, oh, okay, I know what he's doing. If you put Ben Chilwell at left wing, something's wrong with you, bro. Something's wrong with you. I don't understand. And on the player entitlement point, when you buy unproven players and give them 8-year contracts on insane wages, and you're surprised that they're entitled, you've just given them everything they've ever wanted without having to earn a bit of it. They played, as you said, Nico Jackson, 6 months at Villarreal, and he's making, I don't know how much he's making a week, but probably more than he deserves. Mudrik, how much do they spend on him?
80
Oh,
mils.
damn
I
near
think
80. He's making probably over like 200K a week for what? For those performances, he's had a few good moments, and I've been on record saying that I'm investing in his stocks, but he
Vada
has
did.
he hasn't been great. Colwell, who was supposed to be this, prodigy, Brighton were doing everything to try to hold on to him. Granted, he's playing out of position, and which is goes back to Poch as well. He's not quick. He's not a good channel defender. He's slow. Every time he tries to accelerate, he's in quicksand. And you're playing him out on left back where he's demanded to defend the channels the whole game. It's just maximizing weaknesses and minimizing strengths. And then that midfield of Gallagher, Caicedo, and did you see that clip that it's one of the Chelsea accounts put out? It was like a 2-minute 20-second clip of all the mistakes that Caicedo has made leading to goals. It's
That's
actually
mad.
ridiculous. It's him not tracking runners. It's him giving the ball away in midfield, and that's leading to a transition to a goal, like Casemiro type stuff. And this guy's meant to be a technically secure horizontal passer, keep the machine going sort of player, and he's doing the complete opposite. And you see him come off yesterday and bang the. Do you see him slam the chair when he came off? I don't know if he's mad at coming off or mad at himself or what, but
Probably just a range of emotions. It's hard. It's
yeah,
hard to be. It's hard to be at a club like that and be in the 11th. You're expecting bigger and better things, and obviously as athletes, like they're just. I'm getting the feeling that they're very frustrated. But at the end of the day, you're the ones that made the sandwich. You're the reason why you're 11th, and there's no one else at fault on why you're not why you're 11th.
100%. I mean, that the players that are in that squad in that starting 11 are good enough to win games, and they're damn near good enough to beat Wolves. Credit to Wolves. I like what Wolves are doing a lot. Great
Gary
manager
Neal,
Gary O'Neill, but at home against Wolves with the players that they have, they should be able to win that game. And they should be able to, they've lost to Forest at home. They've lost to a lot of teams at Stamford Bridge, not even on the road. Um,
no,
and it's just it's becoming to a point where I feel like it's too far gone for them. Definitely this season, and then going forward, they're in a place where they've spent so much money, they can't really bring in more players. Their players that they have brought in, their value is at an all-time low, so they're going to be losing money regardless. And yeah, I don't really see where they go from here, because these are the worst 2 seasons a Big Six team has ever had.
absolutely, bro. This is worse than banter era Arsenal. Like at least Arsenal,
Yeah,
the banter era was like finishing top four. At worst, they finished eighth. We're talking about two consecutive seasons of bottom half finishes. This is where this is where I talk to the players. Like I don't like to do this when it comes to athletes because but where's your pride as a professional footballer?
yeah, yeah.
Like, bro, step up. Like, bro, this is like a club you're fighting for. Like, I don't get it. I honestly, like, I agree with you. I don't know how they fix it because who do you go get? Who do you go sign? Okay, you signed Victor Osimhen, right? Okay,
Yeah.
is Victor Osimhen really the answer to Chelsea's problems?
No
No,
way.
he
He
doesn't
can't
take them from
score a
12th to 8th.
couple. No,
Like,
not at all.
I don't see it. I don't understand. I said this. I got booed for it on Twitter. I said it last year. I'm like Enzo and like the likes of Malo Gusto. They jumped at the chance of Chelsea Football Club, but it's come to the time where I think footballers need to tell their agents, like, bro, you gotta do more like background checks, more vetting, and all that kind of stuff. Like, I know for Enzo, like he made it out the gutter by going from like River Plate to Chelsea in the span of a year, like 6 months,
Year,
right?
yeah.
Like that's crazy. While Lagusto got out of Lyon, which was a sinking ship at the moment, was a sinking ship at that moment. Obviously, they're like 16th right now, so I get it. But bro, that club is just. If I'm a top talent, I'm looking at Chelsea. Like, yeah, they can offer me the bag and that kind of stuff, but
It's a career ruiner at this point. It's like I'm trying to think of like a
bro, you're either gonna play
similar
and
term.
lose, or you're not gonna play and get no minutes,
Yeah,
or you're gonna get loaned out to Strasbourg.
and there's no like, oh, we might be better in a few years. Like, if none of these players are good, really, and the coach isn't there, the coaching isn't there, and you're under the cuff in terms of FFP, where are you gonna go? Like, I feel like people keep waiting for, oh, it'll get better, it'll get better. I think it's gonna get a lot worse before it even starts to get a little bit better for Chelsea. But we'll see what happens, I guess. I'm just glad it's not my club. But speaking of our club, we got some news today, unfortunate news about Lisandro Martinez. It's in the middle. It could have been like it's only like 1 to 4 weeks, like he'll be back, or it could have been ACL, he's out for the rest of the season. We're somewhere in the middle. Fabrizio said after March international break, but the club came out a little bit later and said at least 8 weeks.
Every single time,
That
worst case scenario, this club, bro. Every single time.
the I don't know. Sometimes clubs say that because they want to give themselves the most time, and then if he comes back early, then all of
Yeah.
a sudden they're the hero. But listen. It sucks. It's a huge, huge blow for Manchester United. Right as we were picking up steam, as we looked
Bro,
like
pull
we
up that
could
table,
make a
man.
run.
Pull up that table right now. We was sneaking, bro. We was
Oh,
connecting the
we were
dots.
coming in
We was
sneaky.
connecting the
I'll pull it
dots,
up.
bro.
We were coming in sneaky. We're sitting in 8th right now, and or
We're
6th, excuse
we're
me.
six.
Um, Sitting in
Bro, 6
sixth,
points off
6
Spurs.
points, 6 points off Spurs, 8 points off Villa, who we play on Sunday. I'm just thinking about if Lisandro was healthy and we were going into that Villa game on Sunday morning, it would be so high. I mean, I still am excited. I think we still can win, but
We still have a chance.
it's I I was thinking about this today. I think he's our most important player by
The system. I
some
called him that on
margin.
I called him that on Thursday. The system.
Yeah,
He is whatever system we have. We don't really have much of a system, but
yeah.
whatever it is, it's Lisandro Martinez. But you know what? First of all, Vladimir Kufal is not safe if he ever
Oh
comes
my
to the
god.
NBA. But
If I
all
get
I'm gonna
his
say,
address, me and my goons, me and Greg's pulling up.
bro, I was say Vladimir Kufal, man. Sky, bro. His whole body weight fell on Lisandro's knee, man.
It's
Bro, all
such a
I'm saying,
freak
we got him
injury.
back for 2 games, bro. We got him back for 2 games. 2 games I will
Changed
always
my
remember.
life.
Such a
They changed my life, man.
They reminded me what a real men center back looks like. But
Bro,
unfortunately,
just the way the spirit in everyone was talking about how it looked like last season's defense. Everyone was high fiving each
everyone
other.
was
Everyone was.
yo,
That was
Nietzsche came
because of
back.
Lisandro Martinez. That was
Yo,
because of Lisandro Martinez. Like he just,
Nietzsche came back, bro, and Dow looked good again. That's all I'm gonna say, bro. Nietzsche come back
bro,
and Dow looks good, bro.
he's sliding
Like,
everywhere. Veron, I mean, you could tell the way everyone went over to him after he went down, what he means to the locker room and what he means to this
they ain't doing
team,
that
and
for
just
Anthony. I'll tell you that much.
oh hell
They ain't
no,
doing that
they're
for
walking
Anthony.
away. Everyone, the Old Trafford might applaud if he goes down
They're
like that.
doing
I'll
the
be real.
Vader, bro. They tell him, nah, he'll
Yeah,
win.
chill,
That's what
chill.
they're doing.
Stretcher
But
might not even come out. They might tell him to just walk off by his own. But yeah, it's just sucks, man. It's like just this season epitomized. Like we just can't get going. He comes back and just the most freak injuries, just trying to shield the ball out of bounds, and just so unlucky. I just feel so bad for him because you can tell how much he wants to be out there, how much it means to him to put on the shirt of Manchester United every day and to be back for 3 games and then be out for 2 months again. I just hope it doesn't. This sort of stuff can just weigh on you mentally, and I just hope I believe he'll come back and be even stronger just because his mentality is just so strong. But I really do feel for him. Football is just in sports, and injuries are just cruel. But the show must go on, and we have more games to play with or without Lisandro. It's going to be a big loss, but we were talking about this earlier, kind of where we go now in terms of the center backs, and Eric Ten Hag has had this thing where he has to play a left footer on the left side. He's played Shaw there. He's played Johnny Evans there. And then when both of those people weren't available, he put Varane there. Even though he didn't want to play him there earlier this season. It's been a mess without Lisandro. And unfortunately, we're heading back in that direction. Victor Lindelof also just came back. It's crazy how Victor Lindelof comes back right when Lisandro gets injured, so he actually has a chance
it's
to
not
play.
fair, bro. This shit is not fair, man.
It's just not even. But
This is Temmie's
I
fault,
think
bro. He probably spoke that shit into existence.
he he's but I think going forward we're both in agreement that it has to be Varane and Maguire. Just
Yeah,
play your best
yeah.
center back partnership and just hope that they can box defend. And
Shaw, Varane, Maguire, Dallo, bro. Just pray and hope. And if Rashford's baby mom Malasia comes back, and wants to come back from whatever freak injury he got in the summer, bro. I don't know what this guy did in the summer.
he's playing a Kendrick Nunn bone bruise out for the whole year, bro.
Bro, where have you been? Him and Mason Mount, bro. They just Casper the Ghost, bro. They just disappeared off. Mount's tweeting about Lisandro Martinez. Like, hope you come back, brother. Where are you?
Where are you? Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. It's absolutely
Bro,
crazy.
geez, man. I'm having to see Scott McTominay's minutes still, man. While City have De Bruyne and Phil Foden in the pockets, I have Bruno Fernandes and Scott McTominay in the pockets. Oh, worry, down, man. It's so quick.
Life isn't fair,
Super
man.
quick, bro. Wan-Bissaka's injured too, which means Dallo has to keep playing 90 minutes. Shaw has to keep playing 90 minutes after coming back from injury.
It was looking so good, man, and now it's looking not good at
I
all.
told you, bro. Anthony needs to learn how to start playing left back, man. That's the only way we can salvage this. Anthony, it's time to start taking left back lessons, bro. It has to happen.
It's not the worst idea. I'm not even gonna lie.
Left back lessons, bro.
Because
left back lessons,
but
man.
I mean, does that kill your hopes in terms of top 4? In terms
I
of
tweeted tweeted this morning. I'm like the injury recovery time was good in terms of like you said ACL, not an ACL, which would have meant end of the season for sure, and then most of the preseason, summer, all that kind of stuff, and we would have been
Yeah.
back to square one next year. But 4 to 6 weeks, he comes back April around the time that we play Liverpool and Chelsea, which is good. Those are important matches, but he misses the Manchester Derby. He'll miss like a
Yeah.
Luton Town away with it's just game I think like we would need him in, like
Yeah.
those kind of games. I don't know. Honestly, I want to see what happens after Villa. I think that's the game that decides it for me. Really, if we beat Villa, then we're knocking on the door, and then we're talking
Yeah. You
about
have a pretty
Spurs.
favorable list of fixtures after that too.
All the big six except City have to come to. Well, we gotta go to the bridge, but I'm not scared of the bridge anymore. So like
No.
Liverpool, and Arsenal, they're better than us. Let's keep it a buck, but they gotta come to Old Trafford still. So you never know what could happen. It's tough, bro. Newcastle still have to come to us as well, who are in and around our league position. So I think Villa game determines it. If we lose to Villa, I think we go 11 points behind them. That's a wrap. GG no re. But if
Yeah.
you beat them 5 points, and we're gonna talk about Spurs soon. Like I don't really Spurs are very what's it called, a kind of team that can always like just bottle a game at any moment. So and
Yeah.
we look honestly like let's be real, we've had a good run since like November, December in the Premier League.
Yeah.
Like we've had some slip
A
ups,
lot better.
obviously, but we've looked a lot
A
more
lot better,
decent,
yeah.
obviously. And Casemiro's still back as well. And I think for me, the front three will determines everything that happens. If Rashford, Hoyland,
Yeah.
Garnacho keep
Our
up this goal
scoreboard.
scoring pace, just like
Yeah.
these 3 goals a game, I'm confident the defense just concedes 2 at most. And like
Yeah.
if we're gonna have to win 3-2
I
every game,
think
let it happen, bro.
yeah. My thing is we gotta get it up to them. And Lisandro was such a big
Oh,
factor in
no, no,
just connecting the pieces, bro. Just him with the
Luke
ball at his
Shaw,
feet, like
bro. It's really down to Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, for the love of God, bro. If you pick up one
yeah.
more injury this season, I'm gonna end it all, bro. Because
Yeah,
you're
we're
the
cooked.
progression in that defense now. That's it.
Yeah.
Because
I
that will
mean,
get
Maguire, yeah, that was
Maguire's
in midfield basically. Maguire crossfield switch, hype.
Well, this isn't fair, man.
Yeah.
I really love Bro, I literally said on Thursday, Leach, I can't live without you. Don't leave us again. And he left me after one game, bro.
Bro, it's the most freak injury I've ever seen. Like,
He's had 2 freak injuries, a non-contact against Sevilla,
yeah,
and now this. It's not like even recurring ankle injuries or like hamstring, which get me worried. I'm like, once you start
yeah.
picking those up a lot, you're like, it's GGG. But like, it's just 2 freak ankle injuries. How does that
So
happen?
annoying. So annoying. Vladimir Kufal, man. I will
Like,
be
this is why I
at
don't like the
your
Czech
house
Republic.
shortly.
This is why I don't like the Czech Republic, bro. That's why I never was a fraud Ballon d'Or winner. This is why Petr Cech's the greatest goalkeeper of all time in the Premier League history, bro.
Yeah,
Fraudulent country, bro. Probably lost to Greece in 2004.
yeah.
Fraudulent country.
All right. Well, hopefully we can get that dub on Villa on Sunday. Let's just round up with the last couple of results of this season. Everton 2, Tottenham 2. Jared Branthwaite, last minute winner. My center back.
Jerry,
Speaking of, we can't be this dependent on Lisandro Martinez. So
June
in the
1st.
summer,
June 1st. Oh, you know what? Forget June 1st. What's today's date? February 5th. February 6th. Bro, City are doing deals for Salvio in pre-agreement.
yeah,
Go to Everton right now who are in FFP trouble. Be like, here you go. 60 million written offer. Pre-agreement done for Bentley. I'm like, yo, get it done, bro.
bring
Get it done.
me Jared Branthwaite, please. This is a colossus center back. Domestic talent. Sir Jim, rise, please. I think that's got to be a priority signing in the summer. And this was an interesting game. I didn't really get to. It was at I think 4:30 my time, so
Yeah, sounds good. I caught the
didn't get to
highlights.
watch the full thing. But yeah, Richarlison seems to be coming into his own a little bit. Weirdly, a couple first time finishes, super nice.
Bro,
And
there's a stat about
go
that,
ahead.
by the way, with Richarlison. I don't know. I think you know
Mm.
John McKenzie, right? The guy from the Athletic.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like he talked a lot about it. Like about 85% to 90% of Richarlison's finishes are one touch or less when it comes to
That's
his
very
goals.
interesting.
His goals
That's
are one
very
touch or
interesting.
less, bro. That's actually like it's one touch
Yeah,
only. Like
that kind
it's
of makes
really
sense though, because I feel like he's a player when he tries to like do too much, he just fucks it up. So when he
that's a
just
good
like
thing for a
doesn't have
striker
time to
though.
think,
Just if you need a
yeah, for
one
sure.
touch bang, bro, that's what you need in a striker, especially someone like Spurs that create a boatload of chances. Obviously, you
Yeah,
have Madison
cutbacks. Yeah,
Who either loves to do the cutback or he loves to lay it off just for the first time
yeah,
shot. Like
yeah,
the second goal, for example, with Dogi had the
yeah.
first goal of the assist, so it's good for them. But Vicario, set pieces,
Hmm.
spooky. He was
Yeah,
getting
it's
bullied.
2 weeks in
Yeah,
a row. 2 weeks in a row. He's had a mare on set pieces. He's been so good at just regular shot stopping, but might be a little hole in his game to exploit. Do you think this is a is it just Goodison Park, tough place to play away, or does Tottenham have a little bit to worry about here?
I think it's just more. I mean, I think obviously Spurs. They're still missing Son. To be fair,
Yeah, that's right.
still missing Sar. Still missing Basuma. So that's
It's true.
three crucial players. But it's Andrew's style, right? It's high risk, high reward. Like it's that kind
Yeah,
of stuff. Like obviously the goal. I mean, the second goal happened because Dragusin came off the bench and did a stupid foul. Kind of reminded me of Tuanzebe against Everton. He made
yeah,
that stupid foul and they scored right after. Like against Everton, against those kind of teams, you just can't be giving away fouls against those pesky set piece teams, bro. Like against Luton next week, if I see any of our players when we're 2-1 up foul against
yeah.
Luton away, 93rd minute, I guarantee you Adebayo is scoring the winner
No,
or
for
the game
sure.
time goal. Like you can't be giving away those fouls. And Dragusin, that's a rookie mistake. Can't be making that. But I don't know. I think with Spurs, like I think they're a good team, but obviously I think it's one of the mutuals that I follow that's a Spurs fan. Like we talked about this. Just the starting 11 is a good starting 11, but the flaws are very evident.
Yeah,
Like
I think
they still got to
it'll
work
come
on
with
that.
like more windows, just more players that fit Ange's style and more concrete depth that
I like the defense
can
though. Like if
actually.
you think about it, they only conceded two. They conceded two set piece goals, but like those are free
Yeah,
goals that
I
really
heard
don't
I heard
happen too often.
the new center back, it was a little bit sketchy.
Yeah, he's not
Dragusin?
good. I'm not gonna lie,
Yeah,
like that's
I'm
kind of
not
weird. But
sure.
like Van de Ven Romero is a solid center back pairing.
Yeah, no,
I
Van
think
de Ven's insane.
they got to worry about the. I think they need a six. Personally, I think Basuma's not good enough. I think
Mm,
they need another eight. I think they need an eight next to the six, and then
Madison.
Madison, and obviously they need a winger. They're linked to Pedro Neto, which would be a game
That'd be a
changing signing.
great signing. Yeah, that'd be a
That's a
great
game
signing.
changer. Son, let's say Richarlison for now, and Neto. I think that's
Neto?
perfect. I think that's perfect for Richarlison. To be honest, I
Yeah,
think
a
that's
lot
three
of
wingers that he can
down the
really count
byline
on.
and cutbacks. Yeah,
And one touch
a
finishing.
lot of
What's better for a striker that predicates on one touch finishing than having a Pedro Neto who I think has 8 assists on the year and that loves byline crossing. It's
yeah, a
it's
lot of
amazing.
rotations there too. A lot of interchanging.
I think that Wolves team
So
gets picked apart. You know,
yeah, probably Cunha,
Cunha, yeah, Cunha,
Ainori.
bring me Cunha.
I like
He's my
Cunha a
number one
lot.
Bruno replacement. He's my number one Bruno replacement. I've added him to the list. This is a
Number one.
number 8. He's not a striker. He's a number 8 that's attacking. Bro, this is what I told. Remember what I told you in Staffy?
Mm.
Advanced right center mid that's attacking, bro. Cunha,
Yeah.
yeah, ball striking, yeah, ball carrying, physical. The Jolinton arc, but better because
Okay.
he's better than
I
Joe.
hear it.
He's better than Joe.
I hear
He's
it.
better than
I
Joe
hear it.
Linton. He's a Champions League level player, by the way. He played for Atletico, bro.
No, I hear it. I like Cunha a lot. I like Cunha a lot. I like the Wolves team a lot. Like Gary O'Neal, as I said before. I like what they're doing over there. Um, Last game of the week, Luton Newcastle, 4-4 thriller. They sold Greg's
Speaking,
bet. That's what
speaking
you
of
hear.
Speaking's out here complaining about $40. Newcastle could have won me $200. That's a big
That's yeah.
difference.
That's a bad beat. That's a bad beat. Luton, man. The little horse that could. If they stay up, this would be an incredible achievement for them. It's looking good. They've against every big team, they seem to put up a fight. It seems to be the other games that they can't really get a hold of. But I like watching them play. They play like a team that just came up. You should, yeah, very simple. Get the ball wide, whip balls in, set pieces. None of this,
Overlaps, 30-minute runs,
yeah,
bro.
none of this
Very
cute
simple.
bullshit. Just very simple.
Moving past,
We're just yeah,
pass and
pass
go,
and
bro.
move, use the width, whip balls in, use our athleticism. Yeah, it seemed like a cracker of a game. Another one that I didn't really get a chance to
4-4.
watch, but
When it went 2-2, I started watching. Sure,
mhm.
Ross Barkley, bro.
Yeah, we got to talk about a most
We have
underappreciated
you told
player.
when you sent me the outline, we have a segment, so I'll
Yeah,
watch lyrical
yeah,
about Ross Barkley later. But
yeah,
what a
yeah,
player! Adebayo, I think he has like 8 league goals now. I think he's somewhere up
yeah,
there, might be 9. That's incredible for a promotion striker to have.
yeah,
Um, they have the right back from I think that's from the City Academy. It's just a really well functioning team. Menji, our kid, like
yeah,
Carrington, Premier League University, as I always like to say. We just have everyone
yeah,
everywhere. Just looked really good. Their goalkeeper, I think Kaminsky, I think he's like really high up in the shot stopping charts. So
yeah.
they're a good team, bro. Rob Edwards is doing good for them. And the first time I saw this team was last year against Sunderland in the playoffs, right? Because obviously I was watching Ahmad.
Yeah.
Bro, they're so physical. Like it's and when you're physical, like obviously they're not the technically like excellent team, but in football, if you're not going to be technically excellent, right, then just
Mm.
outdog other teams, and that's going to get
Yeah.
you far. If you got that
Yeah.
dog in you, bro. If you look at the relegated teams, how many of them got that dog in them? Like you look at last year, Leicester. What did Leicester lack? Dog. Leeds. Dog. Like they didn't have that. This
Mm.
team, bro. Look at Sheffield now. They just I don't know what that team is.
Yeah.
Burnley,
Minus 40
2Q.
goal difference, by the way.
Yeah, Burnley, they played this type 2Q football, bro. That's not what Vincent Company. No disrespect. I'm sure you're a top manager and everything. You have good ideas and stuff like that. But that kind of football with that kind of team in the Premier League is not going to work because that kind of football that you play, unless you have top technicians, it's going to lead to a lot of mistakes, and the other teams will capitalize on that. Luton don't make that many mistakes. They just it's just simple football, and their press is actually good. They capitalize on an opponent's mistakes, and they thrive on it. It's just a good promotion team.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's gonna be a difficult game when we go there in a few weeks.
We're losing that game.
Luton
That's a
away.
given, bro.
I can, yeah, that's gonna be one. We
Oh,
we're
Hoyland's gonna start
probably gonna,
wrestling with the center backs, bro. Oh my
yeah,
god.
we're probably gonna beat Villa and then lose that game. That's
Oh,
probably what's gonna
so
happen.
how to buy a header
Um,
off a set
no, it's
piece.
gonna
Oh, GG, man. Super
absolutely
GG.
GG. Okay, we'll wrap up with our last little segment here. Buy or sell. This is going to be one thing in football that we are buying. We can choose to buy something or sell something. Anything in football. It could be a player, a principal, a coach, whatever you want to do. And so I'll let Greg go first. I think he teased it a little bit, but go ahead.
Ross Barkley for team of the season in the midfield, bro. You cannot tell me that there have been 3 midfielders in this league this season better than
Mm,
Ross Barkley. There's bro, pound for pound. Look at what he's doing for Luton Town. He's one of the major reasons they stay up. Masterclasses against the likes of Arsenal, City, Chelsea, Liverpool, Newcastle. Every single big game, he looks like the best midfielder on the pitch. Dropping deep, a career arc, the number 10 to the number 6 arc. We see that with so many players. Well, I told you he'd be the perfect midfielder for Man United, but obviously a little too late now. But he's just incredible. There's people campaigning for him to go to the Euros. That's an
mm,
interesting shout. Let's say it
like
comes
that.
down to right, like 26-man pick, right?
Yeah,
Ross Barkley or Jordan Henderson, bro. Why are you picking Jordan Henderson?
that's
What can
crazy.
Jordan Henderson do that Ross Barkley can't? Like, oh God, bro. Other than yell.
Bro, the fact that Gareth Southgate went to went to Amsterdam to watch
Bro,
Jordan
go watch
Henderson
some
play this
Luton,
weekend
bro.
when there was an incredible game week this
Go
week. It
watch
was
Luton.
just
Why you not gonna watch?
bro.
Why you not gonna watch Anthony Gordon, who obviously injury? Shout out my boy.
Yeah,
That's very
yeah,
unfortunate.
that's
But like Ross, bro, go watch some more sports. Go watch Kyle Tomori in Italy, bro. Why you gotta go to the
yeah,
Netherlands to watch Dusty Jordan Henderson, bro? That makes no sense to me.
it's
But
crazy.
now Ross Barkley, bro, this is a real jugador. I'm happy for him. Like he was at Nice last year struggling, came back to the Prem, went to that lower club and just revived his career. Kind of what Lingard did with West Ham in a sense, but Lingard didn't stick to
Mhm.
it. Like he
Yeah,
thought he was too big, he was too good for West Ham at some point. Ross Barkley humbled himself. He's like, I kind of fought that Chelsea. That's okay. Let me go Luton, promote a team, let me shine, and then we'll see what happens for me. He might get like a move to like let's say a West Ham maybe in the summer, like that like top 10 club in a sense, or he could just stay at Luton another year and just keep hooping. Like you never know with Luton.
yeah,
They have a type of football that can like stay in the league for like 2 to 3 years before like it kind of catches up to you, like the quality level. But we have
yeah,
a young team and he's a veteran. He's basically the leader of that team in a sense, like other than the guy that's been there since like they were in non-league football. But he's kind of like the calming presence. That's a big role in the promotion team when you're the calming presence. You're the one that has like kind of like help this team stay afloat when it comes
yeah,
to like situations. Like let's say you go winless in 4, right? You have a 6-pointer to stay up. Is the other teams don't have a Ross Barkley.
mm,
Luton do. So Ross Barkley, bro, PFA Player of the Season should definitely be a nominee. If you don't get
mm,
in, it's gonna be because of politics. I get it. You gotta put in the heart.
mm.
You can't be putting a Luton player, but like if we're talking
No, I agree.
legitness, the
I
integrity
agree.
of an award list, he should definitely be in there.
No, I definitely agree. I think that's a great shout. Ross Barkley has been. There's a lot of games in which they've played against, the likes of Arsenal, the bigger teams, and he's looked like the best midfielder on the pitch. So it's a good shout. It's a good shout. So Griggs buying Ross Barkley this week. Maybe we'll keep track of all the buys and sells, and maybe at the end of the season we can go through it or something. I'm also going to be buying. I kind of tease mine as well. I'm going to be buying Wolves manager Gary O'Neill. This guy I thought was so hard done getting sacked by Bournemouth at the end of the season after keeping them up. And to come in and do what he's done at Wolves, they've just passed Chelsea, 10th in the table. They've gotten hard done by so many results, even the result against us, you could argue, in both fixtures. And just the way he structures his team to come in and just have a clear identity, clear principles. Maybe Poch can learn some lessons from him. But I just think he's just a really, really, really good manager and is still somehow pretty underrated in what he's doing at Wolves. Isn't really getting the recognition that he deserves. Yes, they have some, he inherited a pretty decent squad, but that same squad had been underachieving for a while now, whether it be, just due to injuries or, just buying a bunch of Portuguese players that just didn't mesh. He's kind of just brought all of that together, in my opinion, into a truly unified, they're a team now. You can tell they like playing for each other. They know what they're doing on the pitch. Before, I feel like it was just a bunch of individuals. Huang is a top, I don't know how many goals he's at right now.
10.
He's at 10 goals right now. Seventh highest goal scorer behind just Solanke and Son, basically, and Jared Bowen. And tied with Richarlison and Isak and likes of Cole Palmer. So to do what he's done for Huang as well, he's just elevated a lot of players, like Mateus Cunha, even Pedro Neto, I think, has gotten a lot better this season. Nori, all those guys. So yeah, I'm buying Gary O'Neill this week. I just think he's still underrated somehow. But I think he's done a really good job at Wolves this season.
Look at the goal returns. Look at the goal returns of those players that you mentioned from last year to this year. It's like 1,000 times more. And he reminds me of a manager of not a guy that can manage a big six club. I don't think he'll ever get to that. But that manager, kind of how I view someone like Brendan Rodgers for a sense, that he can manage he go to another club like a West Ham, for example. If West Ham ever sacked David Moyes, right? He just gives it up. Yeah. That should be the number one target, in my opinion.
Yeah,
I think someone like Gary O'Neill would thrive in a situation like that.
He just keeps things constant, raises their floor.
Even Wolves can be that team. If I don't know what their financial situation is like, I have to really look at that. But if they can keep the legs, if they could keep the likes of Neto and Cunha for next year, they keep those guys, right? Let's say those guys don't get sold, they can finish top 6. I'm looking at some of these teams are uncomfortable. Chelsea spot's always up for grabs in the big 6 now. That's good.
We know that, yeah.
Newcastle are kind of doing right now. Is Newcastle really a better team than Wolves? Not really.
It's not crazy to say that.
So,
no, it's a good show. It's a good show. I think. Oh, last thing I want to talk about: Michael Olise out for 2 months.
What happens when you don't have an age when you don't have an age maximum limit of coaches, bro? You have an 85-year-old coach, man.
Rory Hodgson, you might be cooked. I saw someone tweet he had a hamstring injury, and then he played 6 straight 90s. Hamstring injury, played another 90, and then hamstring injury, and then he played 9 minutes, and now he's out for 2 months.
Why did he get subbed on, bro? You're down 3-1.
Down 3. Down. It was 3-0 at that point, not even 3-1.
Give it up, bro.
Just ridiculous mismanagement from Roy Hodgson, and I think, it's just criminal. Just absolutely criminal, just destroying a kid's season. He's 22 years of age, and he's had 3 hamstring injuries in 3 months. So yeah, it's not good for Olise. Obviously, a target for Manchester United in the summer. So just rest up until the end of the season, bro, and we'll come save you. Don't worry about that.
I'm kind of off though.
You're off, Olise.
There's a lot of hamstring injuries, bro.
Yeah, no, it's true. True.
I don't like hamstring injuries. Those are chronic. It's not like a random ACL, bro.
It's true. Hopefully, when
you got someone like Nico Williams that's similar price,
Yeah,
More dynamic,
cheaper.
less injury,
Yeah,
less it's cheaper, less injury concern. Has a release clause, so you don't have to do all this negotiation business. Just go there, slap the release clause, like, yo, here you go.
yeah, yeah.
It's kind
No,
of like
I hear it. I wouldn't be mad at any. I think with the lease, you just get a little bit more of the silkiness, a little bit more of like the.
oh,
He's
decent
more of
player.
like a top like technical player in terms of his retention and like obviously his playmaking, ball
Left foot, yo, I'm not gonna lie,
striking.
bro. Left footed right wingers have given me the ick since Anthony arrived.
No, that's true. That's true. That's true.
Uh, this
Well,
Brazilian guy,
he's
bro.
much better than Anthony though. Let's be real.
My grandma's better. Brentford's goalkeeper has more GA than Anthony this season, man.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yo, this is what Ten
Absolutely,
Hag has given yo, bro.
it's clipped, bro. It's so
Flecking.
clipped.
Who the hell is that? What's a flecking? Bro.
He was hooping today for a little bit though.
Yeah, he had like 9 saves in the first half.
It's crazy. All right, well, I think that pretty much wraps up a pretty entertaining game week. As I said, coming into it, we weren't really sure, but it ended up being a nice game week. This is the wraps up the inaugural episode of State of Footy. We'll try to do this, once a week. When there's stuff to talk about, and United can get very boring and dry at times. So when
You see how it starts
we're
soon, bro. Don't worry.
yeah, exactly. UCL's coming back. We're football
Preview.
connoisseurs here. We like to discuss and talk about everything going on in football. So really appreciate you guys joining. Make sure to like, share, subscribe, and subscribe to Griggs as well. Griggs, shout out your channel and all that stuff. I'll put it up.
Yeah, Griggs talks on YouTube. We just hit 300 subs during the weekend
Sir.
with all the watch alongs and all that kind of stuff. Just hitting the grind. Match reaction today I dropped. That was I was meant to drop it yesterday, but I'm like, let me wait to see what this leech up prognosis is gonna be. And obviously I came out today,
Yeah,
so I did it in
that's
the
fair.
morning. And coming, obviously, I know obviously CK hasn't really promoted other sports on his channel yet, but if you got like NFL, Super Bowl this weekend.
Yes,
Gonna
sir.
be, gonna be doing a preview with my boy Salad. So yeah, just that kind of stuff and other football content. And obviously UCL's back next week, so that's really when the content starts flowing a little bit more. Other kind of shows. So yeah, it's gonna be an interesting end of the season. Like CK said, we're gonna be trying doing this every week. Obviously, eventually we'll branch out to other leagues. There's a couple of big
Yes,
fixtures
sir.
this weekend too, but they were
Yeah.
boring. So
Boring. I wanted to talk about it, but it's just like there's nothing really going on.
bro, I didn't even know Atletico drew the game till this morning.
Really? Yeah, last minute header.
Well, I thought
I
the game
turned off
ended
the game
1-0.
before I was driving to work, but yeah, last minute
I
header.
saw Griezmann got stopped off. I'm like, I'm out, bro.
Yeah, TV off. Yeah. No, I hear
TV
you.
off, man.
All right, y'all. Well, really appreciate you guys tuning in. Again, make sure to like, share, subscribe, all that sort of stuff, and do that on Griggs' channel. Make sure to tag him in the description as well. But yeah, until the next one, we'll see you then. Peace.